Coming up on Look Today, we have updates on the inclusionary zoning and the affordable housing initiative in Saratoga. We've got details. And local elementary students join county supervisors for the 2017 Saratoga County Fish Stocking Program. More on that coming up. Plus, Saratoga Plan was awarded a $75,000 conservation partnership grant from the DEC. I've got those details. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm Jay Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. Tonight's program, I sit down with Cindy Sherwood. She's Vice President of Development for Glens Falls Hospital, and we're joined by Carl Cedrone. He's the Chair of the Board of Trustees for the Glens Falls Hospital Foundation, and they're here to talk about the upcoming Art of Healing program and a golf tournament to help benefit the Snuggery and the hospital. And I also sit down with Samantha Bosshart. She's Executive Director of the Saratoga Preservation Foundation, and we're joined by Rich Ortiz. He's a musician extraordinaire, and they're here to talk about the upcoming Historic Homes Tour that is happening on May 11 in Saratoga. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties. But first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, we have updates on the issue of inclusionary zoning and how that pertains to the affordable housing initiatives. Well, a rough draft of the Affordable Housing Ordinance states that for every number of units built, 20% of those must be quote-unquote affordable. Now, what does affordable mean? Well, the maximum purchasing price for an affordable home is $100,000 and $700 a month for a three-bedroom apartment. Well, construction companies and developers have stated that inclusionary zoning can pose issues. Well, we were at that special meeting on Friday, and John Witt, owner of Witt Construction, spoke.
Inclusionary zoning for new construction is a tax, and I don't see how the numbers work. I wrote a letter to Chris. We've met before, we've talked about it, but I'm all for affordable housing, workforce housing, and trying to work with everybody to make it work, but I just don't see the numbers work.
As we mentioned in other broadcasts, a lot of people at that meeting, and we knew a lot of them, and we'll continue to cover this as we get developments. In other news, well, local elementary students joined county supervisors today for the 2017 Saratoga County Fish Stocking Program. Well, the county initiative stocks trout as far north as Saratoga Lake and as far south as the Outlaws Kill in Charlton. And students joined the supervisors at the Corinth Reservoir to populate fish in Saratoga County waterways. Well, we spoke to Arthur Wright. He's supervisor for the town of Hadley.
This is our second year back at it. We've decided to get the schools involved to teach the kids about how important the not only the environment is, but this helps our economy. It brings people into the northern parts of Saratoga County.
Yeah, for sure. And we also spoke to Lauren Roberts. She's a parent of one of the elementary students.
It's really important that we educate the kids as young as pre-K here today, because our environment is really important and they're learning the responsibility with proper fish stocking, and we're really happy that there are these kinds of programs out there that our kids can be a part of and from a young age be taught to be responsible stewards of our local lakes and our environment.
Well said. Switching from news to weather. Well, today saw a slight increase in temperatures into the low 50s, but there was a chance of rain, and there will be a chance of rain later on tonight. Let's see how the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thank you, Jesse. As we take a look at the first look forecast right now, well, thankfully, we're going to see temperatures edging back up over the next couple of days. We've seen some spotty and isolated showers still hanging with us at times today. Now, high pressure doing its best to move back in briefly. We're watching a system down to our south that's eventually going to get its act together and start pushing our direction as this low all the way back out across portions of the Rockies will begin to push our way. And also a more immediate threat, another cold front starting to drop out of Canada. Another neither one of those systems a huge weather factor, but definitely will influence our weather over the coming days. Still cool as we see the wake of the northerly flow still pushing back in. Those 30s holding on for lows across the region. We'll still see a decent chunk of cloud cover with limited clear skies. Cooler weather overnight. Low 36 degrees here across the Glens Falls area. Tomorrow, we're going to start to see the sunshine working back in, but that north wind still hangs around. High of 58 degrees. Out the door temperatures in the 30s and 40s. Keep the jacket with you. We're going to see some clearing, and those winds light out the north between 3 to 5 miles an hour. As we take a look at the extended forecast right now, 62 degrees with a slim shot of showers returning for Thursday. And then here comes the more mild weather I was talking about. By Friday, we're going to see a high of 65 with broken cloud cover, and then more wet weather as that next storm system finally approaches for the weekend. We'll see about a 50 to 60% chance of showers both days this weekend with highs in the 60s and 50s. Well, that's it from the First Look Weather Center. Now let's send it back to you, Jesse.
Thanks, Bran. Good sleeping weather. Back to the news. Well, Saratoga Plan was awarded a $75,000 conservation partnership grant from the DEC. Now, in addition, the Environmental Protection Fund will leverage an additional $1.5 million in private and local funding to support projects that will protect farmland and wildlife habitats. Now, the grant will enable Saratoga Plan to hire its first full-time conservation director. Well, we spoke to Maria Trapka. She's the executive director of Saratoga Plan.
Well, Saratoga County is growing, as everybody knows. It's the fastest growing county in the state, and the opportunities, land is changing hands fairly rapidly. So the opportunities for conservation, when there is such rapid development, actually increases. And we have a long waiting list of landowners and communities which are calling out for our services. And so this will enable us to respond better to those requests.
Nice going, Maria. Up next, I sit down with Cindy Sherwood. She's Vice President of Development for the Glens Falls Hospital. And we're joined by Carl Cedrone. He's Chair of the Board of Trustees for Glens Falls Hospital Foundation. And they're here to talk about the upcoming Art of Healing program, golf tournament to help benefit the Snuggery and the hospital. I also sit down with Samantha Bossart. She's Executive Director of the Saratoga Preservation Foundation. We're joined by Rich Ortiz. He's a musician. They're here to talk about the upcoming Historic Homes Tour in Saratoga that's happening on May 11th. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. I've got a couple of lookouts. Late yesterday, we found out that Log Bay Day on Lake George is now officially banned. Woo! I, for one, am not disappointed, I have to admit, but now Log Bay Day is banned on Lake George. Hey, the other lookout goes to a ninth grader from Milton, Riley Walsh. He entered a YouTube competition called Living the Example, and he won it for a podcast on anti-bullying. That's a national award. So congratulations, Riley. And again, it just goes to show you how progressive the Ballston Spa School District is. Every time you turn your head, they're doing something amazing. And by the way, we will be there next Tuesday because they're having something called Pride Day. Okay, tonight on Look TV, Queensbury Town Board meeting, and don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.
So real, girl. I said that lie. Yeah. Look out the water, oh, it's crystal clear. Said if you wanna see